What is up, guys? It's me, Zach Lee. When Zach Randolph first came into the league, he had a bit of a reputation as a hothead. You know, he was kind of like DeMarcus Cousins before DeMarcus Cousins. But over the past few years, he has chilled out a bit on the court. Since he's been with Memphis for the past who knows how many years, he hasn't been nearly as bad as like back in his Portland days. And the fans of the Memphis Grizzlies and really the organization as a whole grew to love Zach Randolph. All of Memphis loved Zach Randolph, so much so that they have even decided to retire his number after he told them that he was leaving to go sign with the Sacramento Kings on a 2-year, $24 million deal earlier this summer. Things were going really well for Zach until late last night when he was arrested on marijuana charges. I don't think I've ever covered a story that is this serious. Most of the stuff I do cover is always somewhat basketball related, whether it be rumors or just some off the wall stuff about players losing weight or something like that. But this is as serious as it gets. This is real life. All right, so according to report, LAPD officers were called into the LA area around 10 last night. And when they got there, the police found a crowd of people smoking, playing loud music, and blocking the roadway. The officers then said the 3 people were seen grabbing their waistbands and running when they arrived, so they went after them. They didn't say they caught the 3 people they went after, but they detained 3 other people, and one of them was Zach Randolph, who was arrested for possession of marijuana with intent to sell. And then they said they arrested another guy who was an ex-con who was also in possession of a gun. After they made the arrest, things got crazy and they had to call for backup. 6 cop cars in total were vandalized, and at the end, police seized 2 guns, drugs, a significant amount of cash, and 2 vehicles were impounded. And Randolph's bail has been set for $20,000. All right, well, wow. See, what I saw in my mind when I was reading that was this. Zach Randolph was at this block party, street party type thing. I guess it got kind of loud, the roads were being blocked, so someone called the police. The police get there and some people start to run away. Some of the officers go chase those guys. Then the remaining officers approach some of the other people, including Zach Randolph. They find Zach Randolph in possession with enough weed to be considered intent to sell, so they have to take him into custody. They do that and they take this other ex-con who had possession of a gun, which was most likely violating his probation, into custody, and then things all of a sudden got crazy. A little riot breaks out, cop cars are vandalized, tires slashed, windows broken, backup arrives, and here we are. That's all we know. And since I don't know every exact detail, there seems to be like there might be some left out, because I don't clearly see why a riot would just happen to break out after Zach Randolph was caught with enough weed for intention to sell. And then the also guy who was an ex-con was also arrested for probably breaking his probation by having a firearm on him. So there very well could be some other story that is being left out, and since that's the case, I can't really comment on that. I just wanted to share this with you guys and to say that this is very, very sad for Zach Randolph. You understand that some people grow up in that situation and can't really do much to bring themselves out of that situation. That's the life that they grew up knowing. That's all they know, and it is unfortunate, but that's just the reality of the situation. And to them, there might not even be anything wrong with it. They might not see anything wrong with that lifestyle. However, you hear stories like this all the time where someone is able to escape that lifestyle if they chose to, and when they come up, they choose to bring that lifestyle with them. Whether or not it's because they think they're being true to who they are by not switching up, or who knows what the reason is, they choose to do the exact same things they were doing before they came up after they come up. But look here, the reality of the situation is when you're someone like Zach Randolph in the public eye, some kids look up to you, you kind of have to stop doing that stuff because it's no longer seen as cool. You got kids out here looking up to you, then the next thing they know, they see you're involved in something like this. And this isn't me saying that Zach Randolph is a terrible person either. He's done numerous, countless things to help out kids in a struggling community. He's done tons of community service, stuff like that. So I'm not saying he's a bad person. I have no right to judge Zach Randolph. All I'm saying is that all those kids that he reached out to, that he was volunteering for, those are the kids that were looking up to Zach Randolph. And now they see that he's involved in something like this. That's not cool, but that's all I'm gonna say about this. Like I said, I can't comment too much on this situation since I don't know absolutely everything that went down. I'm sure by now Randolph's bail of $20,000 has been posted, and he's most likely gonna escape this whole situation with a slap on the wrist from the courtrooms, as well as facing some type of punishment with the league, maybe like a 5 or 10 game suspension. And this wasn't the first time that he's been caught in a sticky situation involving something like this. Hopefully after this time he tries to separate himself from that lifestyle. Well, if you wanted some good news after that whole Zach Randolph thing, unless you are a Golden State Warriors fan, I ain't got none for you. And actually, this may cause Thunder fans to hate Warriors fan and the entire Warriors organization more than they already do, even though I'm not sure if that's even possible. We all know Golden State booted Kevin Durant out OKC last year, one of the biggest heists in NBA history. That move solidified the Golden State Warriors as a dynasty for who knows how many years to come. But as it would seem, Golden State might not be done booking people off OKC just yet. They think they have room for one more player on their roster who would not only solidify them as a dynasty right now, but will make them the all-time greatest team in NBA history without question. And I don't know if there could ever possibly be a better team that could ever be formed in the NBA going forward many years. They very well could be the best team the NBA will ever see if this happens. The Warriors are reportedly about to make a run at Paul George next summer. They think they're gonna get Paul George next summer in addition to all the other players they already have. Right off the bat, I know most of you are wondering how this is even possible. How do the Golden State Warriors think they could possibly even afford Paul George? They're already paying Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson. How on earth could they afford Paul George? I understand where you're coming from, and you might not want to hear this, but it is very possible. According to the report that came out, the Golden State Warriors are preparing to make the Oklahoma City Thunder sort of a compensation package for Paul George. If they get a meeting with Paul George next summer and can get him to commit, and he tells the Thunder that he wants to sign with the Golden State Warriors, that's where he plans on signing. They are planning to do a sign and trade with the Oklahoma City Thunder. It'll probably be like Andre Iguodala plus some other players to fill a contract. It definitely wouldn't be Klay Thompson. The Pacers already offered Paul George to the Warriors for Klay Thompson earlier this summer before he was traded to OKC, and the Warriors said no. So yeah, it would be like Andre Iguodala plus some other role players for Paul George. And unless the Thunder are planning to go into full-on rebuild mode or something, they wouldn't have much of a choice but to accept the Warriors' offer. Unless they wanted to lose Paul George for the low ball, the lowest of balls for the free. If the Thunder decline the Warriors trade offer, the Warriors would be like, all right, you know what, fine. We're offering you guys a courtesy bunk where we give you at least something in exchange for one of your best players this time. But since you guys want to be like that, we're gonna trade. Not just trade, we're gonna dump off. We're gonna give away Andre Iguodala plus the other players to make room for Paul George to other teams, and then sign him anyways, and there's nothing you can do about it. Which is pretty much the same thing they did with Kevin Durant last year. So yeah, Paul George to Golden State is possible financially on the Warriors' ends if they pull some strings and make some moves. And what's even scarier is it might be possible on Paul George's end too. He might actually consider signing with the Golden State Warriors. Remember that Paul George has said time and time again so far this summer that he cares about winning more than anything. Remember back in July when he said that his interest in the Lakers has been overstated and that it's all about winning. He wants to be in a good system, playing for a good team, wants a shot to win it all, isn't a stats guy, wants to build a legacy of winning. If you don't even think about it and just read what he said, listen to exactly what he said, it sounds like he wants to join the Golden State Warriors. It sounds like he wants to play for the Warriors. If the Golden State Warriors book Paul George, it actually just might be over for the NBA this time. Kevin Durant to Golden State didn't really ruin the NBA, but Paul George on top of Kevin Durant to Golden State, I can't see a world in which any team can even dream of competing with them for who knows how long. A starting lineup of Curry, Thompson, George, Durant, and Green shouldn't even be legal in the NBA. Like, no joke, that is 100% a no questions asked 5 All-Star Hall of Fame starting lineup. They could probably beat the entire Eastern Conference All-Star team in a best of 7 series, and I am being serious. And that's going to lead us to the question of the day. Do you guys think that it's possible for Paul George to end up on the Golden State Warriors? Do you think he would actually go to the Warriors? Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, but now let's take a look at what you guys said in yesterday's video. And yesterday, after the NBA made some changes to how the regular season is going to be, you know, cut down on the number of back-to-backs, eliminated 4-game and 5-night stretches, stuff like that, all in an attempt to stop players from resting as much, I I asked you guys if you think it will work and if players will not rest as much next year, and here's what you said. Question of the day: I think the new schedule changes will affect the amount of times players are resting, but I do not think it will diminish it completely. Question of the day: it just gives the 76ers more time to recover from injury. Question of the day: I think there will be less resting, but honestly, you can never permanently get rid of resting. I agree. I think all these changes are actually great no matter what, because if anything, it'll at least like help with injuries, fatigue, stuff like that, since all the players will be more well rested. But the NBA will never ever do away with resting completely unless they come out and make some type of rule saying that teams have to give a legitimate excuse as to why a certain player isn't playing. They have to show up with like a doctor's note or something, but that's never gonna happen. Like always though, don't forget to leave your answer for today's question of the day down in the comment section below. But other than that, thank you once again for watching the video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the Buckets Team SDC, and out of here.